Let me show you the perfect example of how insidious it is. And what do I mean by insidious? Slowly creeping, a nefarious takeover.
Yeah.
What do you think when the left argues against this? They say, "Oh, critical race theory is not based on Marx," and they lie. Not being taught in schools. We've just proven throughout the course of this podcast those are lies. We have the book right here. Critical theory is the basis for critical race theory. It's obvious they call it critical race theory.
Right.
Frankfurt School, Marxism, etc. They say that they're fighting racism. And here's one of my favorite lies. This right here is from Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy is a U.S. senator from Connecticut with 1 million followers. Chris Murphy is either dangerously stupid, a cult member himself, or a grifter. He says, "Stop the woke mob," with a photograph of civil rights. And they're saying, here's one, we demand an end to, what does it say, racial prejudice or something, or police brutality. UAW says end segregated rules in public schools. Oh. Stop the woke mob. I'm pretty sure if you go to any intellectual dark web, progressive or liberal or conservative, and ask them, do you agree with that sign, end segregated rules in public schools? They will tell you, yes, of course we do. Why would we want to stop this mob of people we agree with? And here's my response. A clown emoji highlighting UAW says end segregated rules in public schools, and a photo, I believe this was from Seattle, I could be wrong, where they have a diversity, equity, inclusivity session for people of color, and next to it, for people who are white.
Right.
They are segregating. This is what we are complaining about. Share these things with your friends and family who don't believe you, who think, but they're just trying to teach the history of racism and Republicans are trying to ban it. No, we're trying to make sure that when they teach the history of racism, they don't encourage more of it like Ibram Kendi does.
Yeah, and so we just filed a thing that you're allowed to do in this country that I didn't even know about called a civil rights complaint with the Office of Civil Rights. It's with the Department of Education, and it was for Wellesley, Massachusetts public schools. So we all know about the tragedy in Atlanta of the women and men also who were shot and murdered, right? Many of them Asian. So Wellesley public schools, this one school decides that they're going to have a healing space. So you always love your healing space, right? And you'd like to go, because this was a shocking story. Whites not welcome.
I mean, to be fair, you and I are both Asian, so we should just make sure Lydia and Ian can't come with us. You guys.
Because you know what? It was not my idea.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I have in the car, another incarnation of this that I didn't get to bring up.
Oh,
but
we should have brought it all in.
It's for you in particular, where they now have hoodies. White womanhood is white supremacy. Because they got to go after you. Yeah.
Well, actually,
I'm screwed. It's all my fault.
We do have this other story. This is funny. Parents at exclusive $57,000 a year all-girls private Manhattan school.
Right.
That counts Gwyneth Paltrow and Kerry Washington among alumni. Reject apology after video mocking white women was shown to students. Yeah. They're going to keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, they are. Until people say no more. That this is unacceptable. This is values that we don't believe. And they can't... The thing that thing that we've learned is that you cannot be shamed, because their tactic of silencing people is to shame you, and people have to be unapologetic in who they are and what they believe, and not allow shame to silence them.
That's why I like what you're doing. It lets people around the world really organize to show like what's crazy in their sector, because if they come out one at a time, they get the vehemence, they get the target, and then they get shamed.
Right.
But if everyone's coming up together, we're in it together. There's no then you actually don't feel shame when there's other people that are also feeling your vibe for the most part.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems I think is that you look at the groups that are willing to stand up. It's just identitarians. You've got the alt-right who are going out and marching and getting attacked or whatever, or white nationalists and whatever will come out and they'll fight people, and not so much relative to the left. The left will go out with their, surely in protest, many of them wear masks, don't want anyone filming, but in their workplace they'll wear masks that say like Black Lives Matter. They will refuse to take them off. They'll wear shirts. They'll get in trouble. Say we don't care. They stand up. They yell. They're secretly going into schools. They are actively infiltrating government institutions.
Right.
And so what do you end up with? Regular, classically liberal-minded Americans, people who believe in the Founding Fathers, aren't doing all that much.
Oh, yeah, we are. We're fighting. I am one of those people. I am always voted Democrat. I am a liberal. I'm classic liberal. feminists, all of these quote identities. And I'm fighting it in the same reason why we fought in our Muslim community and keep fighting for reform of those bad ideas, because these are ultimately bad ideas.
It's starting to come up. I think it's cause for hope and optimism, especially, with the school season coming up. We'll see how things play out, because it really did explode over the past year. But what I mean to say is, you'll see Antifa go out and beat people.
Yeah.
You'll see, in some circumstances, there was one recent thing, I guess, happened in Philadelphia, where some group came out. I don't know a whole lot about it. But you don't see moms marching against critical race theory in the streets. Maybe yet. So maybe that change needs to come this year, and then maybe we'll see it in the next spring or fall.
Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Needs to happen.
Yeah.
More people need to be at work and say no to these racist programs.
Yeah, when you have to, choose their new buzzword, affinity group is their new buzzword, right, for segregation. You have to say no to it, and you have to say that I don't believe in segregation. And this taking men out of Lockheed, right, for their white supremacy retraining camp, like, they have to say no to this.
Yeah.
Did you see the Sacramento public school system document where they said they wanted white children to form white affinity groups to understand their history and shared culture?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that does not sound like anti-racism.
Right.
Or I suppose it does sound like anti-racism.
Yeah.
I guess anti-racism is just code word for being racist, because they support the same things.
Yeah, I mean, it really is racism. Like, anti-racism is racism. Critical race theory is racism. Like, that's where we have to be straight up about it. Anytime
it's
you
like,
judge people by the color of their skin, it's racism.
It's like flammable and inflammable.
Right.
Yeah, what?
Right.
They mean the same thing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And the real hope that I have is that people are running for school board races now, that strategy that they had to bring people into local office, parents are picking that up. They're doing it. Don't you love it that the school systems, the educators, they're getting angry at parents because we're filing Freedom of Information Act requests. They're like, oh no, how dare you actually use your right as a citizen to demand contracts and curriculum. And so they're going after parents for that, but parents are doing it. They're filing these requests.
I think it's time we start calling them critical race application practice sessions.
Yes.
Or we can maybe do a little bit.
Right.
Craps.
Craps.
Yeah.
Craps. I don't know. Maybe that's bad, because craps is a fun game at this year.
Yeah. Crap only, not craps.
I think
I'm into it. Critical race praxis. I like the praxis word.
Yeah.
Because critical race theory is not racist. Studying critical race theory isn't racist. You're studying the tenets of critical race theory. You're learning it. But integrating the praxis into your behavior is inherently racist.
I got it. Call it critical race in practice.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I like that.
Crips.
Yeah.
And then see when all the gang members are like, nah, I don't.
Nah,
Do you see that video from there was a video from the salon where this like Mexican dude, or I guess, was fighting, and people were saying that he was like a gang member or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or whatever. There might be people being racist because the guy was like Mexican. They were like, he's a gang member because he's bald or something like that.
Right.
But I do know that in Chicago, a lot of the Latin kings, very religious. And I have to imagine a lot of the older, members are not going to like what they're doing to these kids.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much, Kool-Aid that they're forcing kids to drink, and what parent wants that? Because especially if you have a pride in your identity, you don't actually want people to start saying that you are the oppressed, right? Like, you are trying to actually teach your child that you are empowered and you can do whatever you want to do. And so there's a mom named Norma. She came from Peru, and she is just so angry that they are making such assumptions about Hispanic kids, you know? Yeah, she's like, this is insulting. And I don't, she says, I don't hate Asian kids that might be going into this school. I actually learn from them. Like, what is it that their parents are teaching them about good values?
There's this viral tweet, I guess, where someone said that English is the colonizer's language and to speak Spanish or whatever. People are like, Spain? Like, what? They were the conquistadors, dude.
Right.
They were brutal.
Yeah. And, you know, there's such myopia in this telling of, quote, truth. A few weeks ago, I went to one of the protests by the social justice educators of D.C.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And there they were chanting like a cult, I pledge to teach the truth. And it's their truth. That's the problem.
Some people are saying critical race at practice.
Nice. I like that.
Crap sessions.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Crap. They're teaching crap to our
Control
children.
the
Yeah.
language.
What do you,
Yeah.
Don't call it crap. It's critical. No. It's critical race at practice.
I love the
Yeah.
I love the creativity, because basically we've got to how do you dismantle propaganda, right?
Play by their
yeah,
rules?
yeah,
Make
Better
exactly.
propaganda, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
so when I was
counter propaganda, right?
when I was at the skate park, I mean, I see these little kids and they're sitting, you know, and they got all this graffiti propaganda of Black Lives Matter and other woke nonsense. And then me and my friends started laughing about, like, what loser is going to come out here and be like, Walmart, what up? Like, I'm repping Walmart.com. And the kids there hear us mocking the ideas.
Yeah.
That's what you need. You need to go there and basically be like, I'll tell you what happens. You go to a skate park and you see a bunch of kids. And the alpha kid, you know, the kid who's good, is going like, yo, Black Lives Matter, yo. But then when a pro shows up, someone who's older and really good, and they do a tray flip crook down the 10 rail, that all the kids are like, oh, and then he starts making fun of the kids for their stupid propaganda. Those kids will change their tune in 2 seconds.
Yeah. So, but then that pro has to have the courage, right, to
And
be
they
able to
don't.
do that.
And they
That's the challenge. Because
Yep.
then they're afraid of losing their sponsorships, their endorsements, and all the rest.
All it takes is for some charismatic individuals to be there to be inspiring young people and telling them to get away from that propaganda. You don't even got to be doing tray flip
I
crooks down a 10
listened to
rail.
your interview with Candace Owens, and she said, and you said also that you get so many phone calls, right, and so many conversations with the quote A-list that is afraid to come out of the closet in their criticism, but they believe it. They counter this belief.
I was invited to a couple like A-lister Hollywood parties, and I was like, why would I go to this? And they're like, oh man, it's low key, you know, you don't got anything to worry about. And I'm like, I don't have anything to worry about. It's you guys. You're scared to speak up.
Right.
There's like it was like TV show A-list. It wasn't like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. or anything like that. It's like a bunch of people who are in prominent shows. We're going to be at this Hollywood party, and I was just like, the idea that, you know, with all due respect, I'm going to come out and have a good time and laugh and you know, break bread and have a beer with you guys. When you're sitting here saying we completely agree, but we will never defend you publicly, I'm like, I'm not cool with that.
Yeah, and it is tough. And I, you know, now I don't know about you all, but like I am just surround myself with folks who are challenging this kind of ideology, because I don't want to be dragged down by people who are just hemming and hawing and cowardly, really, in society. Like, I get it, because I've reported in Pakistan and in Afghanistan, you know, and Saudi Arabia, where extreme identity politics kills, right? And I really fear for America. Like, we are headed in that direction, and I don't want that. Like, when you were talking about the Target closing at 6 o'clock, I thought to myself, man, that's what happens, like, in war zones, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what would happen in a country like Pakistan, because it's dangerous after dark, and that's where sectarianism kills. And all the immigrants from Lebanon, Iraq, you know, Egypt, like, they understand the dangers of this. China,
Yes.
Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.